There are factions in our military that are at war with each other. They are killing each other. When you hear of a training accident, or you hear of this or that, or, you know, this group having accidents, those aren't accidents. Those are happening. There is a fight. There's the good guys, and there's the bad guys. The bad guys want the New World Order, and they are out-and-out Luciferians. When you talk about weapons that can generate an earthquake, you're talking about a form of energy that can interfere with what's called the electron spin rate of matter itself. Okay, antimatter.
Well, they admit that the Earth actually accelerated its rotation last year.
Absolutely.
First time they'd recorded that, but it was almost a second, but close to a second. It was a particle of that, a piece of that. But expanding on that, here's just a layman example. Low level admitted. In the last couple decades, they've been putting out these powerful sonar systems to detect submarines, which every time they turn them on, and that's at a low level, just testing them, whales everywhere die and beach themselves, and they know it's doing it, and they just don't care.
Well, again, you know, a third of the life in the sea is dying. I'd be surprised if we're not there already.
Oh, no. I mean, when I was a kid going out of the Texas Gulf, fishing was 500% easier, better.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, I believe that the Pacific salmon, that there's no fishing of Pacific salmon in the oceans off of the Pacific Northwest because there just aren't enough. I know someone that worked at the fish ladder at the Bonneville Dam or whatever, and I mean, you know, where they used to count thousands of so many hours. I mean, they count, you know, dozens of so many hours.
Meanwhile, they're destroying the entire real environment while saying they need a global tax against humans, in the words of Richard N. Haas, where they say, the CFR says it's not real. They're so arrogant, but we're going to use it as an organizing effect to say that humans are the enemy. That's a quote.
Absolutely.
And so carbon dioxide that plants breathe, that plankton breathe, that's bad, but toxic waste and chimeras, that's good.
Well, this is nothing more than supercharged Henry Kissinger creating a global control mechanism. And look,
no, they say social workers in your house, everything regulated, how much food you get, taxes on your footprint, you get this much, and then everything else is a carbon footprint. Tax, total regulation, shutting down family farms, animal ID, premises ID, all happening, bureaucrats harassing everyone, millions and millions of new bureaucrats every year. My gosh, let's take another call here. Ian in New York, you're on the air, go ahead.
He dropped off.
Okay, Ian, okay, who's up next on your line?
Anthony in PA.
Anthony in PA, you're on the air. Go ahead.
My question was religious-based, off the Bible, not Nostradamus or any aspect.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was curious how you feel about the prophecy of essentially the one world government ending. Do you think it will be a 2012 event? As in, do you think we're in the days of Noah? Do you think that will ultimately be the end?
Well, let Steve answer that. What I do is, I just, and from a secular angle as a news person, cover what I know, what I can prove, what I can show in the main line. Now, Steve does that also, but then brings in, you know, the Bible and things, which meshes with it 110%. So that's basically what we're talking about here. Steve, your comment.
Yeah, I think this is the time period when it turns to total garbage. And the point is that we always talked about, well, a man will work in an entire day's wage for a quart of wheat, you know, and a pint of oil. But the point is now, guess what? The wheat's disappearing. The oil, even the olive oil crop in the Mediterranean countries that raise the majority of olive oil, they're not having a banner year. And I got to tell you something. It's the manipulation of the weather. Weather's everything. Climate is everything. And, you know, the horrific, and I'm spelling horrific, WHOREIFIC. In other words, the whore nature of the entire global warming issue. When does anybody deal with HAARP? When does anybody deal with...
Well, exactly. I want to... absolute key here. We know that global warming is a fraud. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to break here, but on my internet feed, for everybody watching on prisonplanet.tv and on the internet streams at Infowars.com, just those streams will have the behind the scenes here with Steve Quayle. Because of time constraints, we're going to go ahead and talk during this break on my internet feeds at Infowars.com, so let's keep Steve up. Steve?
It is a big idea.
Steve, Exactly, and I've made allusions to this. I know you've talked about it. Not only is there math and their science, and they admit now global warming isn't, quote, causing what they're saying, but they are manipulating the weather. I believe that they're going to cause more and more havoc and then say, see, we've got to have the global government because all these horrible things are happening. Your take on that?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely tracking with you. That is my entire basis of my premise. They're creating the problem. They're telling everybody, but they're blaming man. Isn't that interesting? It's those wicked men. You get rid of the wicked men, and we have this palatial panacea. We basically have an Eden-like environment. We get to live forever. We get to have our memories downloaded continually. We'll never grow old, and this place just turns into an Eden for us.
And that's what the transhumanists are saying.
Absolutely. Look, the transhumanists are more honest than most of the Christians that don't get it. That doesn't mean they're righteous. It doesn't mean they're saved. It doesn't mean that God approves of them. It just means that children of the light sometimes choose to walk in darkness. The people that are walking in darkness, they walk in that realm of darkness, so they're happy with any light. What we're telling people, Alex, point blank, is that the entire global warming issue, look, it is real. When volcanoes go up, a couple years ago, a couple hundred undersea volcanoes. Last year, 6,000 undersea volcanoes.
I want to talk about that in the next hour. Can you stay with us till 20 after?
Sure, I'll stay as long as you want.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I want to play this 8-minute clip when we start the next hour. You'll have an 8-minute break, but you'll probably want to listen to it. Actually, though, the network had it. I've got to play that from my end, so I need to find it here. But we're going to play, and PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, you'll be able to actually watch this video. And I was already aware of these clips from mainstream news, but some folks have made a documentary about it. The Mad Scientist is the name of it. I'm trying to find it here on my screen. For some reason, I'm unable to do that. But maybe I'll just come back with John right now and have him. Oh, okay. John just sent me the clip. I got John in Minnesota sending me clips. I got Paul out here running things on the show end in Texas. I got Steve Quayle online. I got listeners on 2 different phone systems. I tell you, this really is the future of broadcasting here. What we're doing, we're going to have Steve Quayle 20 minutes with us into the next hour. We're going to come back and wrap up the main radio show, but we have tens of thousands listening on the web and watching us at PrisonPlanet.tv. So that is all coming up. We're going to go live right now. Here we go. Okay, we're going to start the 5th hour of Overdrive with Steve Quayle. I'm going to play like an 8-minute clip, Mad Scientist, Transhumanism, from a new documentary film that is coming out that just takes their own public admissions. These are top scientists, heads of departments. They are not us picking out a few bad apples from the transhumanist movement, which has got William Shatner and just thousands of prominent people. When you get to the leaders of it, it is, we want world government. We're going to kill the majority of people. The cyborgs will rule. That's why they throw it in your face through, the Star Trek and stuff with the Borg. And they believe they're going to live forever, but they can only have access to it. They can't give access to 6 billion people. It's just like the movie Moonraker. If you notice all of these different James Bond movies, they'll all, the last one's about genetic engineering and killing people for their genetic material, or government-sponsored terror, or corporate-sponsored terror, false flag terror. They throw it, the guy that Ian Fleming, who wrote these, was a member of MI6. And so he said he was, throwing this in your face. But Moonraker, where a super rich trillionaire is going to release a bioweapon to kill all humans, he takes master race people up to a space station to wait out the year while the Earth dies. They're throwing it in your face. When you read their actual documents, there's thousands of them. Everything they do is for this, and their God, they believe, is enlightening them to make them gods. But first, we have to be killed. We're going to play 8 minutes of this, come back, get Steve Quayle's take on it. Then we will talk to Aaron, Eddie, Rob, Dr. Mike, and that's going to be it for calls. We'll go about 20, 25 minutes into the next hour. For PrisonPlanet.tv viewers, you can watch us on video right now. If you're a PrisonPlanet.tv viewer or any of the radio listeners at Infowars.com, you have to go to those streams to hear this hyper overdrive broadcast we'll be doing with Steve Quayle. SteveQuayle.com. Go there, get his books, watch the films he's involved in. An incredible asset. SteveQuayle.com. But Steve, in the 3 minutes we've got left at the end of the main transmission, you've got the floor. Any other key points you want to make?
Well, yeah, I think the thing is that we used to be able to look at all these events and put them into a reference that we could kind of compartmentalize in our mind. Now everything's coming at us so fast, so furious, Alex, that it's like your 4-hour show. You need that amount because the stuff is happening, and it's going to get worse. It's going to speed up. And as it speeds up, the ramification or the time for anyone who's listening to this broadcast to deal with the ramifications when they go to the store. Listen, I went on record 5 years ago, and I said, I really believe in prayer, and this is a matter of record on my radio broadcast. The time will come when no planes will fly, no trains will run, no cars will run, that America will literally be brought to a standstill.